this incredible journey.
Thank you, Meera. I'm actually a bit lost at the moment because listening to Vijay and Seema has been very inspiring this morning. Sort of reinforces my vision and purpose again. So I think every one of us is talking about access. Every one of us is trying to talk about scale and sustainability, and these are all terms that we've borrowed largely from the world of the corporate. What I would like to remind everybody watching is that all of us are also structured as corporates, and this is sort of the new corporate, which is that we are not looking only at financial responsibility, but we're also looking at both a personal as well as an intellectual responsibility. So it is in that space, Meera, that for me, Concerts in the Dark happened, which is that I have in 2015 Chennai had floods in the December time. It's exactly 5 years ago, and one of the challenges, I was already working with government and corporation schools, and the corporation commissioner asked me to. He said, Anil, we don't need your help on the ground. We have NDRF for that. We need your help in building a school. And I said, me and building a school, so it's sort of like the question Seema was asking herself. And, I used concerts and I did a whole year's worth of concerts. We managed to raise over 7 crores to build a school which is up and running today. I mean, of course, the Rotary got involved and Tata Sustainability Group, and we brought in, but music brought all of them together, and that sort of was a catalyst for me on the power of. So I've already sort of established music as a catalyst in education, which I was talking about. I said, why not use music as a catalyst in social change and in bringing empathy forward? Because music creates that sense of immediacy and empathy immediately. And so when I became a trustee of this home, Jnana Darshan, which is for the visually disabled, it's visually disabled women. I said it's only when I went to the home, and that is when you put yourself in the shoes of the person who's actually suffering, that true empathy begins. I created the concept where I would blindfold myself and also plunge the audience into darkness for an hour and a half. And I said, if you can spend an hour and a half without the ability to see, imagine how it is for a lifetime. And that too in India with the gender inequality that we have. And that has become a very successful mission. This year we are, of course, doing it virtually. I love coming to these conferences because we always like to end with takeaways. So I'm just going to give my 5 takeaways. Vijay, you are my inspiration for coming up with this. And the acronym for me is ARMED, ARMED. I would say advocacy becomes very important when you are passionate about what you believe in. Reach out is in terms of anticipating where your work could be most impactful next. If listening to Vijay, listening to Seema, listening to me, I realized that we've always gone after multiple things. It's not just the one thing, right? Wherever we can be useful, and this advocacy helped. I would say metrics, because I think one of the things we need to remember is, yes, we need to work for our causes, yes, we need to do things to make a difference, but we definitely also need to abide by the ability to show growth and show improvement. I would put E as empowerment. I think we have to empower larger teams, specifically looking at those who are hitherto considered vulnerable, but if you can empower them, you will see a huge demographic effect. I think that's what we are all talking about. And the last D for me is diligence. I think we need to be extremely diligent about the work that we do and remain accountable. So armed is my takeaway. I think, as I said in the beginning, I will say it in the end again. Music is in my life, it's my blood, it's my passion, but more than all of that, I have seen that it has empowered and created true social change, Seema. And I would end by saying that you are already somebody yourself who does something in this space, and only you know how maniacal people like us get when we start going after what we believe in. If you believe you can make a difference, you can.
Thank you, Anil. Wonderful session. If you believe you can make a difference, you can. Business is not just about earning money. And please send your kids to the neighborhood school and not to necessarily to the fancy schools. Listening to all my fellow panelists, I was just thinking about the large hoarding in San Francisco. There was a large hoarding of Dalai Lama which said, be generous, be selfish. I think Everyone wondered how these two words can go together, selfishness and generosity. But I'm sure everyone who has listened in to today will agree that there's been so much energy which the people have derived from their work. I personally experience it every day when we see youth's lives transformed, youth with disabilities, when we skill them and put them into jobs in 28 states of India and becoming in 8 years the largest in South Asia. I really experience this every single day, like all the speakers on today's panel. And after all, if you think about it, making a difference, knowing you leave behind a better world, gives inner happiness, which is the ultimate goal of yours and my life.